Hi, this is Vanessa and welcome to the Lunar Review. For April 27th, we have a very strong aspect in the sky. We have got Mars opposing Pluto. So this is really powerful. This is one of the big ones for the entire year. And in astrology, Mars and Pluto are both considered maleficent planets. And maleficent planets represent obstacles and challenges and struggles, and what they require from us is a certain level of pain and hard labor and very often strife. And this is because they are demanding from us that we grow and develop, and that after the trials that they present, that we are often bigger, better, stronger, and smarter. Pluto. So just a little bit about Pluto. Pluto is a planet at the edge of the solar system, and yes, in astrology, Pluto is still a planet. Pluto is very significant. So Pluto lives at the very edge and within the Kuiper belt, and this is a frigid, icy, cold, dark place. And metaphorically, Pluto is asking us to go into those cold, deep, dark, frozen parts of ourself, of our own psychology, and look at the things that we don't want to, or even sometimes we don't even know that they're there, but they exert a large influence on our life. Pluto represents birth and death and intense transformation, power and power struggles. And with Pluto, we can get these really intense spiritual insights, and we can face our deepest, darkest fears and our most deepest, darkest desires as well. So he wants to instill in us a sense of self-awareness, and he represents regeneration. And this means that there is this cycle, this endless, relentless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So he is about our inner self and our inner power, our self-mastery. And interestingly, the orbit of Pluto is long. It takes 248 years to go around the sun, and it is highly irregular. And it's just a good kind of mirror for our lives. Well, hopefully many of us live long lives, but it seems that most of us live sort of irregular. Things don't really go according to plan in our lives. And Pluto is just asking us to examine the unconscious aspects of ourselves. And he just really wants us to bring us to that most powerful state that we can be in. And when other means don't work, maybe other kinder, softer, gentler means don't work to bring us into this state of awareness, Pluto will grab us through he'll grab our attention with usually some kind of intense means. And this is to force us to deal with something and to leave something behind, to let something die physically or metaphorically. And then with this death, a new cycle can begin. Mars is a much faster moving planet than Pluto, but then again, every planet moves faster than Pluto. But Mars is closer to us, it's closer to Earth, it's closer to the sun, and he is really our physical strength. And it's the feats of courage that deal directly with the body, and it's the risks that we take in defending our body or defending other people or defending our homeland. Mars is about surviving each day, and Mars also is what motivates us into action. He is how we move into action, the style that we use. He is brave and independent, and he is not at all afraid to go at it alone. And as the god of war, he likes violence, aggression, and he needs to be put to the test. He really needs a good fight to prove himself. So Pluto, on the other hand, is slower, and the influence is more subtle, but it is deeper, and it is reaching a very deep psychological, spiritual level. So the relationship between Mars and Pluto suggests struggles and transformations of the spirit, or battles of will and power struggles with other people. So together, these two planets, they're very powerful, very action-oriented. So there's going to be a lot of momentum, action, inspiration. We might even be able to wrestle with our subconscious. We might be pulled into a dark night of the soul, or there might be a testing of our inner resolve, or as mentioned, there might be a power struggle going on in your external world. The aspect is an opposition. So with an opposition, we have two forces that are on the same polarity, but it seems almost impossible or seemingly impossible to integrate the two because they function in such completely different modes. So with oppositions, choices must be made. And usually there's a swinging back and forth between the two energies. So it's extreme. You're going from one extreme to the other. And because of this, this is why the opposition is considered such a difficult aspect, is because it's very hard to rectify these two sides. You might want to move, you might be motivated, but you can feel uncertain on how to proceed. And so in this case, the rhythm of your action, of this movement, it could be very uneven and rough and erratic. It might be hard to temper your energy at this time because there is so much passionate energy and dogged determination, and there's just now the potential to waste your time, that you might make a great effort, and if your energy isn't being properly channeled, that you just want to be careful right now to utilize your power correctly and pick the right dragon to slay, so to speak, and to choose your battles wisely. You know, there is a lot of oomph and get up and go right now, but as this is an opposition, this aspect indicates a difficulty in achieving results. However, the results you want are entirely possible. You just might need a little time. Remember, Pluto takes a long time to orbit. Or with Mars, you might have to fight for it. And your battle, you know, it might be primarily on an inner level, or it could play out in real world circumstances as well. So at this time, there is an incredible amount of energy to face your darkest fears and your craziest desires, and really just to do what your compassion compels you to do. You might want to ask yourself, how strong am I in my convictions? You know, how badly do I want to achieve? You know, what is the state of my personal power? And you might even feel a certain element of danger right now, which is not necessarily a bad thing because that is often what provokes you and gives you courage. So there might be some fierce determination and courage, and you know, just you might even have a desire to dominate, which is fine. That's a-okay because that's sometimes how you have to get things done. However, you will want to control your impulses and keep them in check. Your confidence, along with everybody else's right now, could be sky high. There could be this readiness to act, but outside circumstances just are not cooperating. You know, there might be some resistance to you doing what you want to do, or you might have to do something you don't want to do. So you just want to act with a nice rhythm, with a good rhythm, so that you don't cause extra problems, extra work for yourself, or harm yourself or other people. You just want to avoid any volatile situations because there is potential for conflict now. And if you're not self-aware and disciplined, then the likelihood of that increases even more. So I know all of this sounds like a big one, and it certainly is, so I wish everyone to get through this transit with ease and grace. And until then, take it easy, and I'll be back again.